Hey again, welcome back to another edition of the Dynasty Czars, long-awaited new edition, coronavirus special edition of the Dynasty Czars. No sports. So, Simon, won't you tell everybody a little bit about what you found? I had messaged and said, we really need something, some kind of platform where we can do something with sports. And lo and behold, you found basically exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, the website is What If Sports, and we had talked about this in our group chat, and also I think a lot of us that play Dynasty Sports are kind of looking for something to do in the off season. A lot of people doing startups right now, so I just happened to come across this a couple days after we talked, and one of my buddies is a big Vikings fan, and I just sent him the screenshot of the box score of if the Vikings would have won the 1998 NFC Championship game, and if the Jets would have won. That's our two teams, and it was pretty cool because it had all the stats and everything. Jets won the sim, but I thought it was pretty cool. So I wasn't even sure. I sent it over to you to take a look at it and see if it was kind of what you're talking about for baseball. And the more we looked at it, we realized you could do dream teams, you could do leagues and everything. So you came up with the idea of us playing like a 7-game series. We picked the greatest players of all time. And I said, yeah, let's put a salary cap on it. And so now we got our lineups.
Yeah. So what we did here is this website allows you to, like Simon was saying, you can basically sim historical teams. So you could choose an actual team, and we're doing baseball because I don't know, baseball lends itself more to historic numbers, and I kind of I think I'll enjoy this more than football. But they also have football, and we'll check that out too at some point. But so you could sim like the 1927 Yankees versus the 1991 Braves if you wanted to. And then the cool thing is you can create your own dream teams based on every player from every year. So in other words, you can draft 1917 Babe Ruth. You can draft 1918 Babe Ruth. You could draft 1919 Babe Ruth. And they all have different salaries based on how they did in that particular year. And so, we had the idea to create a little mini World Series here. I'm the Chattanooga Busters, and Simon's the Rock Island Nips, and that's because we played vintage baseball together, and Simon's nickname was Nips, and my nickname was Buster. So we're doing, that's our names.
A little shout out to the Tennessee Association of Vintage Baseball. So that's kind of, Corey and I have always been talking about baseball, and then that league came along and we started playing, and it's been a ton of fun. So that's our names, and we've always been into baseball. So this is pretty cool that we found this.
So I'm going to bring up a screen here so that as I tell you about this, you can maybe see a little bit about what we're talking about here. So the first thing you should know is we set a salary cap of $150 million. Okay. And this is Simon's team. And so you can see at the top, his payroll is, just shy of $150 million. It was 25 roster slots. Which included 19 hitters and 6 pitchers. So we allowed ourselves a 4-man starting rotation, 2 relievers, and then 19 batters essentially, or 19 offensive players, and you had to spend at least $1.5 million on every spot. And so that's what Simon's got here. And so you can see the first 8 players are really the starters where he spent most of his money. And Simon, I'll let you go ahead and see. You can see, just as an example, catcher, he chose 1970 Johnny Bench. Could have chosen 1969 Johnny Bench, who had different stats, different salaries. So there's a lot that goes into this. And Simon, I guess I'll let you go ahead and just kind of tell us your starting lineup, the order of your lineup, if you want.
All right, yeah, real quick. I went with, and I think you might have done the same, but I did 8 starters, and then I got 2 guys, 2 bench players. I guess the way this sims, though, they're not really probably relevant unless there was an injury during the game. So I got 2 guys on the bench. But all right, basically, and something we talked about before, but what I tried to do, even with this team a little bit, is I kind of looked at average and hits, or whip. I get not whip. What's it called?
WAR.
No. Well, I guess I was looking at, on base percentage and average. That was my 2 key things. That's what I meant. For the pitchers, I used whip and ERA. So anyway, my starting lineup, and we'll go through the pitchers for each game. We decided we're going to start a 4-man rotation, so we'll announce our starters right before the game for the first one. All right, so leading off, I got 1922 Ty Cobb, and like Corey said, there's more expensive Ty Cobbs, but I looked at his average, 401 and everything, and it's about my average was about 10 million to 6 to 10 million for those guys. So leading off with Ty Cobb, 1986 Don Mattingly batting second. Chipper Jones from the Braves Dynasty, 1999, batting third. And you see those numbers, pretty good averages and home runs for them. And then cleanup, I got Willie Mays out in center field, 1955, 51 home runs. And Johnny Bench catching from the what do you call it, the Big Red Machine from the 70s. Let's see who I got, and then also Joe Morgan, 1975. I believe that was the year there. So batting 327, got some good range. And I'm a Cubs fan, so I threw in. And when I was looking at the stats, it all kind of worked out good to have Ernie Banks, 1955 there. A lot of home runs. I didn't realize when I started this that he hit that many home runs that year. So, and then when I was a kid, I went to see the Cubs. I was actually there in 1979 and saw Dave Kingman hit home runs. So I loved him as a kid, and that's his biggest year there with 48 home runs. So not bad having Dave Kingman as your number 8 batter.
That's true. I found the Kingman edition a little odd with all of those Hall of Famers. Well, Don Mattingly was not a Hall of Famer, but Kingman was definitely kind of the oddball, if you will. Let me scroll down here to your pitchers and let you say who your 4-man rotation is going to be.
All right. First pitcher is going to start my first game, of course, is going to be Cy Young, 1908. Look at his ERA and his whip. All my whips are below 1, so very good whips and decent strikeout totals for back then. But so we're going to do Cy Young. Game 2 will be Pedro Martinez. Game 3, Mordecai Brown. And Game 4, Greg Maddux. And then I guess on my bench, which I think when it sims, definitely I simmed a couple the other day, and it does use the closer a lot. So I got Dennis Eckersley in there as the closer. And I think I just threw in, was it Tiny Bottom, just because I liked his numbers. So
yeah, I'd never heard of Tiny. Yeah, he was a new one for me, but
yeah, he made the dream team.
Yeah, I like the addition of Mordecai Three Finger Brown back from some ancient Cubs days. So that was a cool addition. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and going to go ahead and try to pull up my team if I can. Give me just a second here. All right. See if this works. Is that my team? Let's see here. Yeah, so this is my team. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of tell you my lineup as well. Batting leadoff, I have 1996 A-Rod with a 358 batting average, 36 home runs in that year. Batting second, I have the 1929 Rogers Hornsby at second base, 380 with 39 home runs. Batting third, I have 2002 Barry Bonds, just unbelievable steroid numbers here. Batting 370 with 46 homers. Batting cleanup, we have the 1924 edition of Babe Ruth, batting 378 with 46 homers. Batting fifth, we have the 1930 Lou Gehrig, who batted 379 with 41 homers. Batting sixth, we've got the 1947 Ted Williams, 343, 32 homers. Very solid numbers for Teddy Ballgame. Number 7, we have, I also have Chipper Jones, but a different year Chipper Jones. I prefer the 2008 version of Chipper Jones here. 364 with 22 homers. And then batting 8th, I've got catcher, 1997 Mike Piazza, 362 with 40 dingers. So moving down to my pitchers, we have My starting rotation is going to be first. I'm going to have 1966 Bob Gibson. He's the only one with a WHIP over 1, Simon. So I guess you got me beat there. My second starter is going to be 1997 Greg Maddux. I can't remember which Greg Maddux you had, but I've got 1997 version.
Believe I have the same one. That's the only player we got the same.
Nice. We may have Dennis Eckersley the same too here. I think we do have Dennis Eckersley the same. But my number 3 starter is going to be 1908 Walter Johnson. Deceptively 14-4 record, but a 1.65 ERA with a .96 WHIP. If you're a baseball fan, you probably know this. A lot of these pitchers they have elite numbers because this was the dead ball era, so there just wasn't a ton of offensive numbers back then. And then my 4th starter is going to be 1998 Randy Johnson, and this is the Astros version of that year. He got traded mid-year, but he was 10-1 with the Astros with a 1.28 ERA and a WHIP below 1. I've got John Wetland here as a kind of a middle reliever or a setup guy, with Dennis Eckersley shutting the door on Simon here very shortly.
Looks like I was just looking at you put a little bit more money into your batters. I'd say slightly more. I got a little more into the pitchers with Mordecai Brown at 15 million. But So my most expensive pitcher was only $10 million, and I think I saw at least 3 of your guys had million or higher. So it looks like I did a little more on the hitters, but it's not like I totally whiffed on the pitchers. But I think you definitely spent a little bit more. Yeah, I think your hitters have really good averages and a lot of power. So.
All right, so now let me share this one more screen here. And this is going to be the actual sim screen that we're going to do in a second. All right, so this is what the little simulation screen looks like. This is what, Simon and I, we're both still working right now. We both still have jobs. We're very grateful. So we decided to put $1,000 on the line on this 7-game series. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that. This is for lunch at Mazatlan. Once the coronavirus subsides, this is for lunch. And so
I was gonna say we've all seen the eSIM games going on, so I guess this is our own little version of it. I mean, people watching those guys just talk about it and then just talk right over the games and not pay attention to them. But somehow they teamed up with FanDuel, and FanDuel's tracking it. And then it was crazy. I put out yesterday that I turned on Fox Sports 1 and they had like NASCAR, like basically they're broadcasting a showing of NASCAR. And I think Jimmy Johnson was driving one of the cars or something, but it's just crazy what people watch. So we're like, why not? This would be entertaining for us. And then we thought today, well, why not just record it?
Exactly. And this is kind of exactly what I was kind of looking for. Yeah. You mentioned I used to have this. I don't think I told you, but I used to have this same game you were talking about. It's called Baseball Mogul. The game for the PC back in the probably early 2000s, mid 2000s, maybe. I
mean, they still make it. The version I have might be from back, early, probably mid 2000s. But I mean, it's still just as fun. You can sim everything and trades, and you got a salary cap, and it's kind of like this. With this one though, we're just like simming the games, can't watch them, but it was pretty cool building your lineup. We kind of like the daily fantasy sports with the salary cap, so that kind of made it fun to try and stay under the salary cap to set these all-time great teams.
Yeah. All right, so I guess without further ado, you ready to sim this game? This is game 1. I have to change your starter, so let me switch over here. We've got to go from Mordecai Brown to Cy Young. So this is going to be Bob Gibson, Big Bob Gibson on the mound versus Cy Young. We're at the home team's ballpark here, which Simon's home field is Wrigley Field. My home field is Ebbets Field. So we ready to do this?
We'll also explain the format, how we're going to do home and away.
Yeah, I think since we're not having to worry about travel, I guess. So this is going to be a best of 7. I guess what they do now is what is it? Is it 2-3-2?
Yeah, but I don't know about this year, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
So
because we don't have to worry about travel, we're going to go 2-2-1-1-1 just to kind of. It's kind of unfair, honestly, to give the team that's supposed to be at a disadvantage 3 home games in a row. That's my opinion, but
yeah, I don't like that either. If you win one of the first 2, then you got 3 home games. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
All right.
you gotta switch it to I guess we're at Wrigley Field. Don't forget that.
Well,
you got at home already.
Yeah. All right, so I guess I'm gonna switch here to the full screen here.
And you're gonna hit play game and simulate it, and then we'll try and look briefly at the stats.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, like Baseball Mogul would let you kind of watch the game as it goes, still very sped up if you want it to be sped up, but I think this is just more or less an immediate sim, but it gives you the box score and all the the play-by-play information, but it's an immediate simulation.
Yep, and I'll jot down the scores here for you.
Oh, so thank you. Yeah.
So we'll keep track of that.
All right, so Chattanooga Busters, the away team versus the Rock Island Nips. Bob Gibson versus Cy Young. Here we go. Is that popping up? Hopefully that's.
There we go.
All right, so yeah. Unfortunately, looks like Rock Island Nips took game 1, 9-4. Looks like he got out to an early lead in the second inning. He put up 5.
Wow.
And just never could recover. Let's just take a quick look here. The Busters, Chattanooga Busters, no home runs. Nobody hit any home runs.
Well, they're facing Cy Young, so he didn't give up many home runs.
That's true.
In 1908.
Yeah, so Bob Gibson went 6 innings and gave up 7 earned runs. Dennis Akersley had a scoreless inning, but it really did no good. Looks like Chipper Jones and Willie Mays went deep. So I'm not sure who they necessarily. Probably Gibson, but
that was my number 3 and 4 slotted batters, so they lived up to the middle of that lineup.
Nice, and then
Dave Kingman with the triple.
Yeah. My pitcher got pissed at Mays when he took him deep, and it looks like he hit him probably his next at bat there. Joe Morgan looks like he had actually 2 stolen bases, so good for him.
So let's see. Go back down to the pitching.
Yep. So pitchers, you had Cy Young went 7 strong with 4 earned runs, and then 2 scoreless innings of relief. Looks like Mordecai Brown actually came in for relief. Well,
yeah, he's got 2 more days before he's got to pitch a full game. So
a win's a win. So yeah, you do anything in the World Series. Okay, interesting. So player of the game, Joe Morgan collects 4 hits. So we didn't really. Let's look at that. Yeah, so Joe Morgan went 4 for 5 here, batted 800, with 1 run. So 4 for 5 with 1 run, no RBIs. That's not really all that good. I mean, 4 for 5, really great, but.
Who was that? Joe Morgan was player of the game?
Yeah, Joe Morgan was your player of the game.
All right.
So
go back to the top real quick.
Yep.
All right, just want to look at the whole thing. All right, because we sort of skimmed over. So yeah, I got 5, 6, 7, 8 by the 4th. So after that, yeah, just wanted to see how it kind of played out.
Yep.
All right.
You close it out.
Yep. Rock Island's up 1 game to none.
Let me look at hold on. I just want to see who my best hitter for the day was. Looks like Ted Williams went 2 for 3. Rogers Hornsby went 3 for 5. So hell, Bob Gibson even got a hit. He batted 500. So Bob Gibson may be the only. I think he hit a home run in the World Series too. May be wrong about that, but all right. So I don't know if it keeps up. I wonder if I refresh this, if it keeps up.
No, hold on. Don't do that. I think if you hit you change the starters and play again, I sort of think it like keeps some sort of stat, but then that'll probably be wiped out when you go and change the home teams around.
Okay.
So I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I know you can change the starter there.
Yeah. So okay, so our next starter, and again, and we're still at Wrigley Field here. Simon's still the home team. I'm starting Greg Maddux in this game, and Simon is starting Pedro Martinez. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. So Maddux versus Martinez. This is kind of a modern game here. Same lineup where we've got to really take.
Both pitchers are from '97, actually.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. All right. And this was in the, 97. This is in the height of the steroid era, and to have a 2.2 ERA and a 1.9 ERA, that's pretty elite. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Oh my God.
Yeah. There's a low scoring game there.
4-2. All right, so it was 4-2 game.
Must be that home field advantage, huh?
Look at my 1, 2, and 3 hitters. 0-4-11.
Wow.
Babe Ruth.
Strikeouts.
Lou Gehrig, yeah. Piazza played well. Let's see here. Not much going on. Chipper Jones and Willie Stargell coming off the bench had an RBI.
No home runs again for you.
What's that?
No home runs again for you.
No home runs. It's disappointing. Greg Maddux takes the loss. 6 innings, 4 earned runs. John Wetland, 2 innings of relief. No earned runs. You're the bottom end of your lineup didn't hit particularly well, but
look at that. Who hit a home run?
Looks like Ty Cobb, who's not known for his power, but he hit a home run along with Mr. Willie Mays.
2 in a row for Willie Mays. 2 games in a row.
Yep.
Go back up to the box score real quick. I'm curious. All right. I just wanted to see if that home run was maybe in the first inning by Ty Cobb, but it doesn't look like it.
It was very nearly a shutout. I scored 2. It would have been 4-0 had I not scored 2 in the top of the 9th there. Pedro Martinez had a 1-hitter. 1-hitter through 6.1 innings.
Oh, look at who came in off the bench, Cy Young.
Cy Young just after going the previous game, huh? Yeah. The problem is I guess this isn't really factoring in the prior
series,
game, but
hold on, who Pedro Martinez got the MVP,
well deserved after just a 1-hitter facing that lineup, a 1-hitter. I mean, it's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, I guess it's we were talking about simming like a series if it would let you, which it doesn't. But I guess this is still kind of cool because it's like, all right, each game is like the best against the best, and they're in their top shape. So, Cy Young, if he hadn't pitched the day before, he might have come in and, definitely back then they definitely pitched not just the best starters. I think he probably had saves that year.
And what we haven't really said yet is we're actually both participating in an actual league for this website, which is in the league we're doing. There was an $80 million cap. So Simon has created a league, a team, and I have 2, and we're actually in a league with I guess 30. No, let's see, 4.
I think it's 24 teams. No, or maybe it's 28.
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of other people.
I think it's 24 teams.
Okay, 24 teams. Okay.
12 in a national and 12 in American.
And so that hasn't really started yet, although our league is filled up. So we're going to see how that kind of plays out. Because I do think that will factor in pitchers getting tired and players needing rest, and all of that is factored into the actual league. This is more of just a straight up one-off simulation. So, all right. So.
Well, at least you got to be the home team here. Let's see if that helps you out.
Yeah, I think we're going to switch teams here. So let's see.
Hey, did it show you? I guess it doesn't. I was thinking it had showed you something on the right, but I guess not. So I think. Oh, there you go. See,
it does have recent games down here.
Yeah, that's what I was. And then I'm not sure. I wouldn't click on view, but it may screw you up what you're looking at. But I'm not sure. I guess maybe it only shows the last 2, but I'm curious if you do switch teams, and I think it might wipe that out. But we'll see.
Right. All right. So this one we're having kind of this is an old school matchup here. It's going to be, and this was just happenstance. Mordecai Brown for the Nips and Walter Johnson for the Busters. Two kind of early 20th century guys here. Ready?
Yeah. See if you're gonna bring it back and make it a series, or
yeah. This if I don't win this, if I don't win this game, I think it's going to be over. I don't know if we can pull out a Boston Red Sox style miracle here. But we're back at the friendly confines of Ebbets Field, so here we go. Oh yes. So okay.
Oh, there you go. All right. That makes it a little more fun too.
Yeah. So it's 2-1. This was looks like the Busters got out to an early lead 2-0, made it 5-0, and then really put it away in the bottom of the 7th there. For the Nips, his top two players,
0 for 5, 0 for 4.
0 for 9. Yeah, top of your lineup struggled there. Joe Morgan though, 3 for 3. Joe Morgan's playing well for you in this series.
What about Willie Mays? He's got 2 home runs and then 2 for 4.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Willie Mays is strong. No home runs for you this game. Ernie
Bates 2 for 4.
Yeah, 2 for 4 with Kingman. Mordecai Brown even got a hit.
Wow, he gave up 15 hits and 11 runs though.
So Mordecai Brown went, he went 6.2 innings and gave up 11 earned runs. So he had 141 pitch count. Probably should have been pulled a little earlier than he did, but
yeah,
or he was.
All right, now you finally got some stats to look at.
Yeah, so we got Roger Hornsby here, 4 for 5, 2 runs, 4 ribbies. I'm imagining he may be the player of the game, if I'm guessing. Babe Ruth went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, 2 runs. So that's
home run.
Yep, Babe Ruth. So the 1924 Babe Ruth hit a home run. Walter Johnson even got a double in this game, so that's good. A lot of RBIs. And then Walter Johnson went 8 strong innings, 2 earned runs, and Wetland gave up a run or 3 runs in relief there. But the game was already decided at that point. So player of the game, yep, Rogers Hornsby, my number 2 batter, drives in 4 runs. So that was a fun game. All right. So you want to see anything else, or ready to close that out?
No, you can close that one.
All right. So
must have left a lot of guys on base. 12 hits and only 5 runs. So didn't capitalize.
So this time we've got another very modern matchup. We're going to have for the Nips. We've got Greg Maddux, same Greg Maddux I used earlier, and I have Randy Johnson with a 1.28 ERA. Still at Ebbets Field.
It just shows 2 recent games I see on the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like it keeps it to 2 most recent. Well, no, those are the 2 first games that you won, so I don't know. All right, let's sim this one. You ready?
Yep.
Oh yes. All right.
Barely.
This one was a walk-off. We got a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th. We'll see. I'm actually going to have to look over on the left side to see what happened in the bottom of the 9th there. For the Nips, Cobb has –
0 for 5
yeah, he's struggling right now. That's 2 games in a row that he's been hitless.
Willie Mays, another home run.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That was good. Joe Morgan 0 for 2 this time. Ernie Banks 0 for 4. Back half of your lineup struggled. So your 3-4-5 did pretty good, but other than that, not a lot. Kingman made an error for you out in wherever he's playing.
Yeah, he's out in right field. He's got like a D and a D- for fielding and range. So
it looks like they brought in Pedro Martinez in the bottom of the 9th to try to.
He gave it up.
to try to close it out, and he gave up the losing the losing run there. Let's see what we got here. A-Rod, Hornsby. So Barry Bonds went 2 for 4. Babe Ruth, probably player of the game here, 2 for 5. No home runs, it looks like. Larry Walker came in off the bench. I wonder if Larry Walker got the winning hit.
Oh, wow.
No, he doesn't have an RBI though. So, so Randy Johnson got the early hook for some reason.
Yeah, that's strange. I mean, I don't think I scored too much at the start.
So it looks like my Greg Maddux, the same Greg Maddux that you started, actually came in for for relief for me and got the win. So
well, let's see. Go over to the left and scroll down to the.
Yeah, I want to see what happened. Let's see what happened in the bottom of the ninth here. Looks like Mike Piazza got a bloop single to center field, and Babe Ruth scored. So after smoking a line drive single to right field to start the, well, not necessarily to start the inning. I guess Pedro Martinez came in relief in the middle of the ninth there. No. I guess that is to start the inning.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Go back up, see who your player of the game was.
Yeah, Piazza, because he drove in the winning run. I like it.
Well, now we're tied up 2-2.
And he went 4 for 5. He actually went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. So that's well deserving. It's 2-2, and like we said, we're gonna switch back, and the Nips are gonna get the home field advantage here, and we're starting back to the start of our rotation, right?
Yep. So
it's gonna be Bob Gibson versus Cy Young here. And again, the series is tied 2-2, so this is a critical game. Here we go.
Oh no!
Busters, they came out to play today.
22 hits, is that right? Wow.
22 hits, 16-2. So never really a game here.
Go back up to the box score real quick. I was jotting down the hits. All right, 4 errors by us. Okay. All right.
So we got out to an early lead. It was 3-0 by the second inning. At the end of the second inning there, A-Rod played well. Looks like Lou Gehrig went 4 for 5. Ted Williams 3 for 4. Larry Walker getting another pinch hit single here or hit. So very strong. No home run. Can you believe that?
Yes, I see.
16 runs, no home runs.
I see it shows 2 out RBIs. You had a lot of RBIs with 2 outs.
That's because I drafted clutch players, Simon.
Okay.
All right. So Bob Gibson gets the win, 7 strong, only 1 earned run, 2 scoreless innings of relief. Ty Cobb finally comes to life, 3 for 4. The heart of your lineup just struggled there. 4, 5, and 6 just went 0 for 10, so that hurts.
Dave King 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
3 strikeouts.
You're swinging for the fence every time, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Ty Cobb with a triple. That would have been a sight to see, I have to say.
Spikes high, I'm sure, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. There's a famous picture of him sliding into third. It's classic. Yeah. Classic pitcher. Cy Young takes the loss. 7.1 innings, 5 earned runs. Look at Mordecai Brown's ERA there.
Oh wow!
He gave up 5 earned runs in a third of an inning. So not good. All right. So Babe Ruth is a player of the game as he scores 4 runs. So. Simon, after you got out to a 2 anything else you want to see on here, by the way?
No.
All right. So after you got off to a 2-0 lead, you're looking at a 3-2 deficit. So got any thoughts here?
Well, I was just say it's an elimination game, and unfortunately, due to our format, you're the home team for this game as well. So you got to switch that up. So it's not looking good here, but you won 3 in a row somehow. So let's see if I can extend it to Game 7.
All right. So this is going to be for me. It's going to be Greg Maddux, and for you, it's going to be Pedro Martinez.
Hold on real quick. So yeah, the last game that these two they face each other, we won 4-2. So it was a low scoring game with 5 hits and 7 hits. So yeah, I like my chances with it being a little bit low scoring here. We'll see if we can get a few more across.
This could be it. Let's see. This could be the series. If not, we'll have a Game 7. Let's see. Oh, yes. The Nips came through.
I thought
so.
Sure
That was a solid performance by the Nips. It got out to actually I scored 1 in the first, but he got 4 in the second. It was pretty much over at that point. Ty Cobb and Mattingly both with solid games. Joe Morgan with another good game. Ernie Banks with a solid game.
Ooh, look at that home run, Dave Kingman.
3 RBIs for you. Yep, Dave Kingman with 3 RBIs. Got to be your player of the game. We'll see here. Willie Mays with a stolen base. Pedro Martinez with the win.
2 earned runs, 7 innings.
Eckersley.
Dennis brought in Eckersley for okay, there we go. Eckersley came in for 2. So one of those, we've seen that nowadays where they're bringing the closer for the last 2 innings. So
yeah, I don't think technically that qualifies. Would that qualify as a save? He faced 6 batters. That may be a save. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't show you.
My team, we got A-Rod, Hornsby, Goose Egg. Yeah, just nobody shining. Larry Walker he just keeps coming off the bench and going 1 for 1 as a pinch hitter. So
maybe you should have started him.
I maybe should have. He's 3 for 3 at least in the series that I've seen. A-Rod did have a home run for me. Lou Gehrig had the other RBI. Maddux, 5 innings, 5 earned runs. And then
by the way, that home run, you had a home run by Babe Ruth in Game 3. No home run since, so that's only your 2nd home run of the series.
Yep. Your player of the game, Pedro Martinez, as he strikes out 11. So that's actually really solid. Chipper Jones actually struck out 3 times and left 4 men on base. So he was definitely the GOAT of this game. All right. Anything else you want to see on this box score?
No. I mean, it's kind of funny. Yeah. I mean, I start out to a big lead, but this is pretty cool that it comes down to a Game 7. And guess what? Nips has got the home field here.
Yeah, we got to switch it back. You're right. So we're going to switch this back to home field, and then it's going to be for all the marbles. We are going to have Walter Johnson versus Three Finger Brown.
Which is funny. Let me tell a quick story. 2015, I went with Tim Meatball Morgan from the Tennessee Vintage Baseball. Invited me up to see the Cubs play, and in that series they were down 2-0 to the Mets, and a New York reporter, kind of trying to be a smartass, came up and asked just random people, and he asked Meatball, he said, you got 1 game to win, who do you want out there pitching? Do you want was it Mordecai Brown, or he just said who would you want of all the Cubs pitchers, who would you want out there? And Meatball said Mordecai Brown is the pitcher that he would want, and he turned over his cell phone, and on the back, his cover was a Mordecai Brown cell phone cover. So I was there to witness him, do this on, to one of the New York media. Unfortunately for the Cubs, they lost, and they were down 3-0 and lost the series, got swept. But that's a cool story. So here I go, come down to 1 game. I got Mordecai Brown.
You know why he said Mordecai Brown, though, right?
Why?
Only because Walter Johnson never played for the Cubs.
Okay. That may be true, but
all right. So this is for the lesser of $1,000 or lunch at Mazatlan's. Here we go. For all the marbles. The Busters.
Oh, no.
Busters pulled it out. Yes. Yes, they pulled it out actually. Yeah, 6-3. So it didn't actually come down to the came down to the 8th inning actually.
It was 2-2 going into the 8th.
Yep, 2-2 going into the 8th. A-Rod, 2 for 5. Babe Ruth, 2 for 5 with 3 RBI. So he's got a possibly player of the game if it's not the pitcher. Piazza, 3 for 4 with a run scored. Babe Ruth with the home run. So he comes in, Babe Ruth, clutch. Clutch.
I guess they call him the GOAT nowadays, huh?
Yeah.
Look at your manager. He's really mixing it up there with the pitchers, and he pulled it out.
Well, it's kind of like
bench, Game 7, right?
It's like exactly. It's like Joe Madden trying to screw up Game 7 of the Cubs World Series, but somehow they still pulled it out. So
as everyone says now, despite him, they won it.
Totally. So, I guess it does show the save. Bob Gibson comes off the bench with the save. Dennis Eckersley with 1.1 scoreless innings of relief. Solid performance by the pitchers. Your team, Ty Cobb, 2 for 5. Don Mattingly, first 1 and 2, solid. Chipper hurt you.
4 on base, and look at Johnny Bench, 6 on base.
Oh, that killed me.
Yeah. Here, real quick, let's look at the pitchers.
Yeah.
And the MVP, and then let's go look at the 8th and 9th inning there. So,
let's see, player of the game, Babe Ruth drives in 3 runs in the 8th inning. Babe Ruth, that was the decider too. He let it off with a 2-run home run.
Which had 4-2, right?
That's it. And I think you scored another run in the bottom of the 8th, and then I put up 2 more in the top of the 9th. And
so how did I score? Let's see, bottom of the 8th.
Bottom of the 8th.
Bottom of the 8th.
It's like it was a ground out that scored Willie Mays.
Willie Mays led off with a triple. And then let's see the 9th. Did I threaten to score at all? Well, you scored 3, so yeah, that was it.
It's like it was 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Well, there we go. So yeah, we bet lunch on it now with this stuff going on. It's to be determined if that place ever opens again. So luckily we picked the place and.
That place is a Brentwood. That place is a Brentwood tradition or whatever. It's the heart of Brentwood. That'll reopen. So
yeah.
Well, that was fun. I'm glad my $150 million was better spent than your $150 million. Although it came down to Game 7 to all the way down to the 8th inning. So that was a pretty damn good World Series there.
Yeah, pretty realistic, and I'm excited. Like you said, we got a team in $80 million salary cap league with 24 other real people where you can do trades and waiver wire pickups and everything, and it sims through an entire season. So excited to check that out.
If we get 2 other guys, we could redraft some teams. If any of our dynasty colleagues are interested, we could kind of get maybe a 4-man tournament or something on here in the next game. We'll see. I mean, I'm the defending champion at this point, so I'm the man to beat. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun, and we'll have to figure out what we're going to do next, and we'll be back.
All right. Until next time, yo ma.